The vast expanse of space remained silent, undisturbed by the countless civilizations that called the Milky Way their home. Among the glittering stars, a sleek, crescent-shaped vessel glided effortlessly through the void. Its iridescent hull reflected the distant starlight, making it appear almost ghostly against the backdrop of infinite darkness. Inside the ship, Captain Zixlara of the Galactic Confederation sat motionless, her 4 eyes fixed intently on the holographic display before her. Her slender, blue-tinged fingers danced across the control panel, adjusting parameters and fine-tuning the ship's ultra-sensitive sensors. For cycles, she had been tasked with mapping this unremarkable sector of space, a mundane assignment that had left her longing for excitement. Suddenly, a soft chime broke the monotony of the ship's ambient hum. Zixlara's antenna twitched in surprise as she leaned forward, her eyes widening in disbelief. There, amidst the cosmic background radiation, was an unmistakable pattern, a signal of artificial origin. "Computer, verify and isolate the anomaly," she commanded, her voice trembling with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The ship's AI responded instantly, its melodious voice filling the command center. "Verification complete, Captain. Signal origin: third planet of the local star system. Designation Sol 3. Signal type: primitive radio transmission. Estimated technological level: pre-FTL civilization." Zixlara felt a surge of adrenaline course through her body. A pre-FTL civilization, hidden away in this backwater region of space. The implications were staggering. As a member of the Galactic Confederation, it was her duty to report this discovery immediately. As she prepared to send a priority message to Confederation headquarters, Zixlara couldn't help but wonder about the beings who had sent this signal. What kind of creatures were they? How had they evolved? And most importantly, were they ready for the profound changes that contact with the galactic community would bring? Meanwhile, millions of kilometers away on the rust-colored surface of Mars, NASA astronaut Jack Harper stood in awe before a sight that defied explanation. The harsh Martian wind whipped around his environmental suit, red dust obscuring his visor, but nothing could tear his gaze away from the monolith that towered before him. "Houston, are you seeing this?" Jack's voice crackled over the comlink, a mix of wonder and disbelief evident in his tone. Back on Earth, in the bustling control room of NASA's Johnson Space Center, dozens of scientists and engineers huddled around monitors, their faces a mixture of shock and excitement. Dr. Amelia Foster, the mission director, leaned into her microphone, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "Affirmative, Jack. We're receiving your feed. Can you describe what you're seeing?" Jack took a deep breath, trying to find the words to convey the magnitude of his discovery. It's like nothing we've ever seen before, Amelia. A structure, easily 20 meters tall, pitch black, and perfectly smooth. No signs of erosion, no visible seams or joints. It's as if it was molded from a single piece of material. He paused, running a gloved hand over the monolith's surface. "And there's something else. There are markings, symbols, I think, etched into the surface. They're glowing, pulsing with a faint blue light." In the control room, a hush fell over the assembled team. Dr. Foster exchanged a meaningful glance with her colleague, Dr. James Chen, the lead xenorchaeologist. This was it, the proof they had been searching for throughout human history. They were not alone in the universe. As the implications of Jack's discovery began to sink in, alarms suddenly blared throughout the control room. Dr. Foster spun around, her eyes widening as she saw the source of the commotion. "Jack, we're picking up an enormous energy spike from the monolith," she said urgently. "Get back to the lander immediately." On Mars, Jack stumbled backward, watching in awe as the symbols on the monolith began to glow brighter, pulsing with an otherworldly rhythm. The ground beneath his feet trembled, and he felt a strange tingling sensation throughout his body. "Amelia, something's happening," he reported, his voice tight with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. "The monolith, it's activating." As Jack's words echoed through the control room, the feed from his suit camera suddenly cut out, plunging the screens into static. In that moment of chaos and uncertainty, humanity stood on the precipice of a new era, one that would challenge everything they thought they knew about their place in the universe. Little did they know that, light years away, Captain Zixlera was preparing to make contact, setting in motion a chain of events that would forever change the fate of both their species and the entire galactic community. The gleaming spires of Washington, D.C. pierced the morning sky, a testament to human ambition and ingenuity. Yet today, they were dwarfed by the massive alien vessel hovering above the National Mall, its hull shimmering with an otherworldly iridescence that defied earthly physics. Captain Zixlera stood at the base of the Capitol steps, her 4 eyes blinking rapidly to adjust to Earth's harsh sunlight. Flanked by her diplomatic team, she waited as a motorcade approached, carrying the world's most powerful leaders. President Elena Rodriguez stepped out of her limousine, her face a mask of calm determination despite the unprecedented nature of the situation. Behind her, other world leaders emerged: the stoic Russian president, the cheerful Australian Prime Minister, and the reserved Japanese Emperor, among others. "Welcome to Earth," President Rodriguez said, extending her hand in greeting. "We are honored to." She was cut off by a sharp gasp from one of Zixlera's aides. The alien diplomat had recoiled from the president's outstretched hand, antenna quivering in what seemed to be disgust or fear. "Apologies," Zixlera said, her voice a melodious trill translated by a device at her throat. "We were unaware that physical contact was customary. In our culture, it is reserved for intimate activities." An awkward silence fell over the gathering. President Rodriguez cleared her throat, quickly recovering. "Of course, no offense taken. Shall we proceed to the conference room?" As they made their way inside, none of them noticed a small figure darting between the Secret Service agents. Timmy Henderson, the 10-year-old son of one of the White House staffers, who had snuck away from his mother to see the aliens up close. Inside the grand conference room, tensions were high as Earth's leaders and the alien delegation attempted to bridge the vast gulf of their differences. Zixlera's team had brought a sophisticated AI to facilitate negotiations, its holographic interface hovering above the central table. "Our scans indicate your species has only recently developed rudimentary space travel," Zixlera stated. "The Galactic Confederation offers guidance to emerging civilizations. We propose a period of tutelage, during which we will oversee your technological and societal development." President Rodriguez frowned. "While we appreciate the offer, humanity has its own path. We're not looking for overseers, but for equals and potential allies." Zixlera's antenna twitched in what might have been amusement. "Equals? Your species is barely a stellar infant. Our AI can demonstrate the vast disparity in our capabilities." The holographic interface flickered to life, displaying a series of complex equations and diagrams. These represent but a fraction of the scientific knowledge required for membership in the Galactic Confederation. The AI intoned, "Based on your current rate of progress, it would take your species approximately 1,000 of your years to." Suddenly, the hologram flickered and died. A small hand retreated from the control panel. Timmy had snuck under the table and pressed what he thought was the enhance button on the alien device. "Hey, cool aliens," Timmy exclaimed, popping up between a startled Zixlera and the Russian president. "Can your ships do loop-de-loops in space? Oh, and do you guys play video games? I bet I could beat you at Fortnite." The room erupted into chaos. Secret Service agents rushed to remove Timmy. World leaders shouted in a mix of anger and embarrassment, and the alien delegation recoiled in shock. "How did this young one breach our security perimeter?" Zixlera demanded, her composure shattered. "And what is this Fortnite he speaks of? Is it some form of human combat training?" Timmy, being dragged away by a red-faced agent, called out, "It's just a game. But I bet it's harder than your space math." The alien AI, rebooting after Timmy's interference, suddenly chimed in. Analysis complete. The child's statement is correct. This fortnight contains decision-making algorithms and spatial reasoning challenges that exceed the complexity of our displayed equations. Zixlera's team erupted into a flurry of alien language, their gestures becoming increasingly agitated. The human leaders watched in confusion as the aliens huddled together, seemingly reassessing everything they thought they knew about humanity. Finally, Zixlera turned back to the assembly, her voice tight with barely contained panic. We must confer with the Galactic Confederation. This encounter has not proceeded as anticipated. Before anyone could respond, the alien delegation hastily retreated, practically running from the room. Within minutes, their ship had broken atmosphere, leaving Earth's leaders staring at each other in bewilderment. As the dust settled, President Rodriguez turned to her advisors, a mix of confusion and amusement on her face. "Can someone please tell me what just happened?" In the corner, Timmy's mother held her son close, torn between pride and mortification. "I'm so sorry, Madam President. I don't know how he got in here." The Russian president, known for his stoicism, suddenly burst into laughter. "Do not apologize. Your boy may have just saved us from becoming alien pets. Someone get that child a medal. And maybe a video game sponsorship." As the room filled with nervous laughter, Earth's leaders realized that humanity's first contact had gone spectacularly off-script. Whether this was a disaster or a blessing in disguise remained to be seen. But one thing was certain: the galaxy was about to learn that humans were anything but predictable. In the bustling spaceport of Centauri Prime, aliens of all shapes and sizes hurried about their business, a cacophony of languages filling the air. Amidst the chaos, a small green-skinned Arcturian named Zorp stood frozen in front of a massive holoscreen, his 3 eyes wide with disbelief as he watched the latest galactic news broadcast. And in a shocking turn of events, the diplomatic mission to Sol 3, known to its inhabitants as Earth, has ended in unprecedented confusion. The tentacled news anchor announced. Sources close to Captain Zixlera report that the humans displayed behavior so erratic and unpredictable that the mission was aborted for the safety of the delegation. Zorp turned to his companion, a towering crystalline Rigelian named Cax. Can you believe it? A pre-FTL species scaring off a Confederation diplomatic team. It's unheard of. Cax's crystalline structure vibrated in what passed for a shrug among his kind. Perhaps they're simply savages. It wouldn't be the first time the Confederation has encountered a violent species. As they debated, the news continued to roll. Footage from the Earth mission played, showing the chaotic scene in the human leadership chamber. Aliens throughout the spaceport gathered around screens, buzzing with speculation. "Look at that tiny one," a Betelgeusian trader exclaimed, pointing at Timmy. It infiltrated their highest security meeting. "Are all humans that stealthy?" "Impossible," a Syrian military officer growled. "Their technology is primitive. They must possess some form of natural cloaking ability we can't detect." As rumors spread across the galaxy at faster-than-light speeds, the Galactic Confederation found itself facing a crisis. In the Grand Assembly Hall on the capital world of Sinan Prime, representatives from 1,000 worlds argued fiercely about the human problem. High Counselor Vexelia, a serene, ethereal being of pure energy, called for order. "We must approach this situation with caution. These humans are an unknown variable." "Caution," sputtered Ambassador Krog of the Orient Cartel, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "We should quarantine their entire system before they become a threat." "A threat?" laughed Diplomat Shen of the Pleiades Accord. "Did you see their level of technology? They're children playing with toys." As the debate raged on, Dr. Emily Reeves sat in her dimly lit lab at SETI headquarters, her eyes glued to a computer screen filled with strange symbols. For days, she had been working tirelessly to decode the alien transmissions that had flooded Earth's airwaves since the failed diplomatic meeting. "This can't be right," she muttered, running a hand through her disheveled hair. Emily had expected tales of Earth's backwardness, perhaps even plans for invasion. Instead, she found something far more puzzling: fear. Dr. Reeves, her assistant, Jake, poked his head into the lab. "The UN Security Council is asking for an update. Do you have anything concrete yet?" Emily leaned back in her chair, her mind racing. "Jake, according to these transmissions, the aliens aren't laughing at us or plotting against us. They're afraid of us." Jake's eyebrows shot up. "Afraid? Of us? Why?" "I'm not entirely sure," Emily admitted. "But from what I can gather, our unpredictability terrifies them. They can't categorize us, can't fit us into their understanding of how civilizations should develop. And there's something else." She trailed off, her brow furrowing in concentration. "What is it, Dr. Reeves?" Emily turned to face her assistant, her expression grave. "There's chatter about something called the trials. I can't decipher all the details, but it seems like some sort of test they put emerging civilizations through. And Jake, I think they're planning to subject Earth to these trials." Jake's face paled. "But we're not ready. We've barely set foot on Mars, let alone prepared for some alien test." Emily stood up, a determined glint in her eye. "Maybe that's our advantage, Jake. They don't understand us, can't predict us. If these trials are coming, we'll face them the only way we know how, the human way." As Emily prepared to brief the world's leaders on her findings, across the galaxy, the Galactic Confederation was reaching a decision. In a secret chamber deep beneath the assembly hall, a group of shadowy figures gathered around a holographic projection of Earth. "It's decided then," a voice rasped from the darkness. "The humans must be tested. Prepare the trials. We will see if this species is truly as formidable as they appear, or if they will crumble like so many before them." As the Shadow Council dispersed, none of them could shake the feeling that they were about to unleash something they might not be able to control. Humanity was about to face its greatest challenge, and the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see if this young species would rise to the occasion or be crushed under the weight of cosmic judgment. The United Nations General Assembly Hall buzzed with tension as world leaders gathered for an emergency session. The room fell silent as Dr. Emily Reeves took the podium, her face grim but determined. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Our decryption of alien transmissions has revealed that Earth is about to face a series of challenges known as the trials. These tests are designed to assess our species' worthiness for galactic citizenship." Murmurs of disbelief and fear rippled through the assembly. The Secretary General leaned forward, his brow furrowed. "Dr. Reeves, what exactly do these trials entail?" Emily took a deep breath. "We don't have all the details, but we know they're designed to exploit what the Galactic Confederation perceives as human weaknesses. They're meant to be impossible." As if on cue, the lights in the assembly hall flickered. A holographic image materialized in the center of the room, a towering insectoid alien with glowing compound eyes. "People of Earth," the alien's voice boomed, translated in real time. "I am Tix Thor, overseer of the trials. Your species has been deemed potentially hazardous due to your unpredictable nature. You will now face 5 challenges. Succeed, and you'll earn a place among the galactic community. Fail, and your civilization will be contained for the safety of all." The hologram vanished, leaving the room in stunned silence. Then, chaos erupted as leaders argued about how to proceed. In the midst of the uproar, a tall, muscular man with a crew cut stood up. "If I may speak," he said, his voice cutting through the noise. The room quieted as people turned to look at him. "I'm Tyler Hawkins, former Navy SEAL. I've been working with Dr. Reeves on contingency plans. We don't have the luxury of debating this. We need to act now." President Rodriguez nodded. "What do you propose, Mr. Hawkins?" Tyler stepped forward, his presence commanding attention. "We form an international task force, the best of the best from every nation. Scientists, soldiers, hackers, diplomats. Anyone with skills that might give us an edge. We pool our resources, share our knowledge, and face these trials head-on. As murmurs of agreement spread through the assembly, the floor began to shake. Outside, the sky darkened as massive alien structures materialized around the globe. The trials had begun. The first challenge appeared in the Sahara Desert, a sprawling, otherworldly maze that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Its walls shifted and changed, and strange energy fields interfered with all known forms of navigation technology. Tyler's team arrived at the maze's entrance, a diverse group of experts from around the world. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant Japanese physicist, examined the energy fields with a frown. Our tech is useless here. It's like they've created a pocket dimension with its own rules. Beside her, Amir Hassan, an Iranian archaeologist with a knack for ancient navigation techniques, studied the maze's patterns. It reminds me of ancient Mesopotamian labyrinths. Perhaps we can apply historical knowledge to this alien construct. As they debated how to proceed, a young woman named Zhou Chen, a prodigy in artificial intelligence, noticed something odd. "Look at how the sand moves around the maze," she said, pointing to subtle patterns in the dunes. "It's almost like the desert itself is trying to tell us something." Tyler nodded, a plan forming in his mind. "Okay, team, we're going to do this the human way. Yuki, work with Zhou to see if you can use the sand patterns to predict the maze's shifts. Amir, I want you to apply every historical maze-solving technique you know. The rest of you, we're going old school, string, markers, and good old-fashioned teamwork." As the team ventured into the maze, alien observers watched in confusion. The humans weren't relying solely on technology, nor were they using brute force. Instead, they combined primitive techniques with innovative thinking, adapting on the fly to each new challenge the maze presented. Hours passed, and the alien observers grew increasingly agitated. The humans were progressing far faster than anticipated, their unorthodox approach defying all projections. Finally, Tyler's team emerged from the exit, battered and exhausted but triumphant. As they stepped out of the maze, it shimmered and vanished, leaving only smooth desert sand behind. Sixthor's hologram appeared before them, its compound eyes glowing with what might have been surprise. "Impossible," it chittered. "The maze of dimensional flux has never been solved in less than 3 planetary rotations. You did it in mere hours." Tyler stepped forward, his team standing proud behind him. "We're just getting started," he said, his voice filled with determination. "Bring on the next trial." As news of their success spread across the globe, a spark of hope ignited in the hearts of humans everywhere. The alien challenges were daunting, but humanity was proving to be far more resourceful than anyone, human or alien, had anticipated. In the depths of space, the Galactic Confederation watched in growing astonishment. These humans were unlike anything they had encountered before, and the galaxy was about to learn just how formidable humanity could be when pushed to its limits. The second trial materialized in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, a colossal alien structure that resembled a twisted organic supercomputer. Its tendrils burrowed deep into the earth, siphoning energy and data at an alarming rate. The challenge: stop the machine before it drained the planet dry. Tyler Hawkins and his team arrived via helicopter, the dense canopy parting to reveal the bizarre alien construct. Dr. Emily Reeves, who had joined the team for this mission, stared at the readings on her tablet with growing concern. "It's not just draining energy," she reported, her voice tight. "It's absorbing information about our biology, our ecosystems, everything. If we don't shut it down, it'll have a complete blueprint of Earth's biosphere." Zhou Chen, the AI prodigy, attempted to interface with the alien technology, only to be rebuffed at every turn. "It's like nothing I've ever seen," she admitted, frustration evident in her voice. "Our most advanced AI can't even begin to decipher its operating system." As the team grappled with this seemingly insurmountable challenge, an unexpected voice chimed in. Maria Fernandez, a local indigenous guide who had been helping the team navigate the rainforest, stepped forward. "You're thinking about this all wrong," she said, her eyes fixed on the pulsing alien structure. "You're trying to fight it with technology, but can't you see? It's alive." The team turned to her, skepticism and curiosity warring on their faces. Tyler, however, had learned to trust unconventional thinking. "Go on, Maria. What do you mean?" Maria knelt, placing her hand on the forest floor. "This machine, it's not just taking. It's trying to communicate with the forest, with the earth itself, but it's speaking the wrong language." Dr. Tanaka's eyes widened with sudden understanding. "Of course, it's not a malicious attack. It's an overzealous attempt at information gathering. We don't need to destroy it. We need to teach it." What followed was one of the strangest scenes in human history. Guided by Maria's intuition and the team's scientific knowledge, they began to educate the alien supercomputer about Earth's delicate ecological balance. They used a combination of high-tech data transfers and low-tech demonstrations, everything from sharing climate models via quantum entanglement to literally showing the machine how earthworms improved soil quality. Zoe worked tirelessly to create an AI interface that could translate human understanding of ecology into terms the alien machine could process. Dr. Reeves and Dr. Tanaka collaborated on a crash course in earth sciences, distilling billions of years of evolution into a comprehensible package. As hours turned into days, the alien structure's energy siphoning slowed, then stopped altogether. Its tendrils began to withdraw from the earth, and its pulsing took on a more harmonious rhythm with the forest around it. On the fifth day, just as the team's stamina was about to give out, the structure shimmered and transformed. It reshaped itself into a towering tree-like form, its leaves functioning as solar panels that began to channel energy back into the earth. Sixthor's hologram appeared, its compound eyes flickering with what could only be described as bewilderment. This is unprecedented. You were supposed to destroy the biosphere assimilator. Instead, you've repurposed it." Tyler, exhausted but grinning, stepped forward. "You gave us a problem, and we found a solution. Isn't that the point of these trials?" The alien overseer seemed at a loss for words. Finally, it spoke. "You continue to defy our understanding. Prepare yourselves. The remaining trials will not be so easily subverted." As the hologram faded, the team allowed themselves a moment of celebration. 2 trials down, 3 to go. But their jubilation was short-lived as they received an urgent communication from UN headquarters. The 3rd trial had appeared, and it was like nothing they could have imagined. In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, a massive anti-gravity field had formed, lifting millions of gallons of water into the sky. The challenge: prevent ecological catastrophe as the field threatened to disrupt global weather patterns and ocean currents. As the team rushed to their next impossible task, news of their successes spread across the globe. Humanity, once divided by borders and ideologies, began to unite in the face of these cosmic challenges. People from all walks of life offered their unique skills and perspectives, forming a global brain trust dedicated to overcoming the trials. In universities and research labs, scientists worked around the clock to understand and adapt alien technologies glimpsed during the trials. In monasteries and temples, spiritual leaders meditated on the philosophical implications of humanity's place in a wider galactic community. In homes and community centers, ordinary citizens brainstormed creative solutions, approaching the trials from angles the aliens had never considered. As Tyler's team headed towards their next challenge, they carried with them not just their own skills and determination, but the hopes and ingenuity of the entire human race. The Galactic Confederation had sought to test humanity's worthiness, but in doing so, they had inadvertently sparked a renaissance of human creativity and cooperation. The trials were far from over, but with each challenge, humanity was proving that their greatest strength lay not in advanced technology or military might, but in their unparalleled ability to adapt, cooperate, and think outside the box. The galaxy watched in growing awe as these unpredictable beings from Earth continued to defy every expectation. As Earth grappled with the ongoing trials, an urgent distress signal echoed across the galaxy. The peaceful world of Noveria, home to one of the most advanced civilizations in the Galactic Confederation, faced an unprecedented catastrophe. Dr. Alex Rodriguez, a maverick astrophysicist known for his controversial theories on quantum mechanics, burst into the UN Command Center, his eyes wild with excitement and fear. "You need to see this," he panted, pulling up a holographic display of the Novarian system. The assembled leaders gasped as they saw a swirling vortex of darkness at the center of the display, slowly consuming everything around it. "Is that what I think it is?" President Rodriguez asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Dr. Rodriguez nodded grimly. An artificial black hole, created by an experiment gone horribly wrong. The Novarians were trying to harness dark energy as a power source. Instead, they've created a monster that's consuming their entire world. Tyler Hawkins, fresh from averting the oceanic disaster of the third trial, stepped forward. "Why are you bringing this to us? Surely the Galactic Confederation has the technology to deal with this." "That's just it," Dr. Rodriguez replied, running a hand through his disheveled hair. "Their technology is useless against it. The black hole is evolving, adapting to every countermeasure they throw at it. It's as if it has a mind of its own." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Finally, the Chinese premier spoke up. "If the Confederation can't solve this, what chance do we have? We're still in the middle of our own trials." Dr. Rodriguez's eyes gleamed with a mix of madness and inspiration. "Because we might be the only ones crazy enough to try something that just might work. I have a theory, but it's wild, untested, and probably suicidal." President Rodriguez leaned forward, intrigued despite herself. "We're listening, Doctor." As Dr. Rodriguez laid out his audacious plan, involving principles of quantum entanglement, theoretical time dilation, and what he called dimensional folding, the room erupted into a heated debate. It was insane, impossible, a 1 in a billion shot at best. But as footage of Novaria's plight played on the screens around them, showing a highly advanced civilization facing extinction, a resolve settled over the assembly. "We have to try," Tyler said, his voice cutting through the arguments. "Not just for Noveria, but for ourselves. This is our chance to prove we're not just capable of joining the galactic community, we're essential to it." Within hours, Earth mobilized on a scale never before seen in human history. Space agencies around the world pooled their resources, retrofitting every available spacecraft for deep space travel. Dr. Rodriguez worked tirelessly with a team of the world's brightest minds to refine his theoria and develop the technology needed to implement it. As the hastily assembled fleet prepared to depart, a message came through from Sixth Thor. The alien overseer's voice sounded strained, almost desperate. "Humans of Earth, your interference in the Noveria situation is neither required nor permitted. Stand down immediately, or face disqualification from the trials." President Rodriguez stood before the global broadcast cameras, her spine straight, and her gaze unwavering. "With all due respect, Overseer, we decline. Earth chooses to aid Noveria. Trials be damned. We will not stand by while an entire civilization faces annihilation." As the message was transmitted, cheers erupted in mission control centers around the world. Humanity had made its choice. They would meet this crisis on their own terms. The journey to Noveria was fraught with peril. The fleet, a motley assortment of retrofitted satellites, space stations, and experimental craft, pushed the limits of human engineering. Crews worked around the clock, making repairs and adjustments on the fly, their ingenuity tested with each passing light year. When they finally arrived at Noveria, the sight that greeted them was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The artificial black hole had grown exponentially, its event horizon now threatening to engulf the entire planet. The remnants of the Novarian fleet hung in space, their advanced ships rendered impotent against this cosmic threat. Dr. Rodriguez's voice crackled over the comm system, a mix of fear and determination evident in his tone. All ships, assume formation Alpha. We've got one shot at this, people. Let's show the galaxy what humanity can do. As Earth's fleet moved into position, the eyes of the Galactic Confederation turned towards this backwater species that dared to attempt what they had deemed impossible. In the face of cosmic horror, humanity stood tall, ready to risk everything on a desperate gamble to save not just themselves, but a civilization that had, until recently, regarded them as primitive curiosities. The stage was set for either humanity's finest hour or its most spectacular failure. Either way, the galaxy would never be the same again. The void of space around Noveria buzzed with tension as Earth's makeshift fleet took up its positions. Dr. Alex Rodriguez's voice, taut with nervous energy, crackled over the intercom. All ships, commence dimensional folding sequence on my mark. Remember, timing is everything. 1 microsecond off, and we'll be joining that black hole instead of stopping it. Tyler Hawkins, commanding the lead ship, felt sweat beating on his forehead despite the climate-controlled cabin. Copy that, Doc. All crews, stand by. As the fleet prepared for its daring maneuver, the Novarians watched in a mixture of hope and disbelief. Their own ships, far more advanced than the human vessels, hung useless in space, their weapons and defenses having proven ineffective against the cosmic anomaly threatening their world. Aboard the Novarian flagship, High Admiral Zelma turned to her second-in-command. Are they truly attempting the Korana Gambit? It's nothing but a theoretical concept. Her aide's multiple eyes blinked rapidly in agitation. It appears so, Admiral. But surely their primitive technology can't possibly. 3, 2, 1. Mark. Dr. Rodriguez's shout cut through all communications channels. In that instant, the human fleet sprang into action. Each ship activated its dimensional folding device, a jury-rigged contraption that looked more like a collection of scrap metal than a piece of advanced technology. The space around the fleet began to warp and twist, reality itself seeming to buckle under the strain. Tyler gritted his teeth as his ship shuddered violently. Warning alarms blared throughout the cabin, and for a terrifying moment, it seemed as if the vessel would tear itself apart. But then, impossibly, it held together. The view outside the ship's windows defied description. A kaleidoscope of cosmic energies swirling in patterns that hurt the human mind to contemplate. It's working. Dr. Rodriguez shouted, his voice filled with equal parts disbelief and elation. The dimensional folds are creating a resonance cascade. The black hole is beginning to destabilize. Indeed, the monstrous vortex at the center of the Novarian system began to fluctuate, its event horizon wavering like a mirage in the desert. But the battle was far from over. Energy spike. Zhou Chen's voice cut through the chaos. The black hole is adapting, trying to counteract our efforts. For agonizing minutes, it seemed like a stalemate. Humanity's desperate gambit versus the implacable force of a runaway cosmic phenomenon. Ships creaked and groaned under the strain, their makeshift modifications pushed far beyond their intended limits. In the Novarian flagship, alarms began to sound. Admiral, an officer called out. We're detecting a quantum fluctuation in the black hole's core. If it continues, it could trigger a chain reaction that would destroy half the galaxy. Admiral Zelma's face fell. We have no choice. We must destroy the human fleet before their actions doom us all. But before she could give the order, something extraordinary happened. Tyler, his mind racing, made a split-second decision. All ships, reverse polarity on the folding devices. Dr. Rodriguez, we're going to turn this thing inside out. That's insane. Rodriguez shouted back. The math hasn't been. No time for math, Doc. Sometimes you've got to go with your gut. Do it. In that moment, as the human fleet executed a maneuver that defied all logical prediction models, the impossible happened. The black hole's event horizon began to collapse in on itself, The tremendous energies it had absorbed now turned inward. "It's working," Zoe cried out. "The black hole is imploding." With a final, reality-warping shudder, the artificial black hole winked out of existence, leaving behind nothing but a faint afterglow of exotic particles. For a long moment, silence reigned across all communication channels. Then, slowly, cheers began to erupt, first from the human ships, then spreading to the Novarian fleet and across the entire watching galaxy. Tyler let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. "Status report." "We did it, Captain," Zoe replied, her voice filled with awe. "Novaria is safe. And, sir, you're going to want to see this." As Tyler looked out the viewport, his jaw dropped. Where the black hole had been, a new star was forming, its nascent light already beginning to shine across the Novarian system. Admiral Zelma's voice came over the comm, filled with a humility rarely heard from such an advanced being. "People of Earth, we cannot begin to express our gratitude. You have saved not just our world, but countless others. The Galactic Confederation stands in your debt." As the realization of what they had accomplished washed over the human fleet, a new message appeared. This time from Sixthor, the overseer of the trials. "Humans," the alien's voice seemed to tremble slightly. "You were tasked with proving your worthiness to join galactic civilization. Instead, you have shown us that it is we who must prove worthy of joining you. The trials are over. Earth's admission to the Galactic Confederation will be immediate and unconditional." As celebrations erupted across the fleet and back on Earth, Tyler Hawkins allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would they. 1 year after the Novaria incident, the gleaming spires of New Geneva stretched towards the sky, a testament to humanity's newfound place in the cosmic order. The city, built with a blend of human ingenuity and alien technology, now served as the headquarters for Earth's delegation to the Galactic Confederation. Inside the Grand Assembly Hall, representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered for a historic session. At the center of attention stood Tyler Hawkins, now Earth's official ambassador, preparing to address the assembly. "Fellow beings of the galaxy," Tyler began, his voice carrying across the diverse crowd. "A year ago, we were strangers to you, an unknown variable in the cosmic equation. Today, we stand as partners, friends, and I hope, innovators in this grand tapestry we call the Galactic Confederation." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. Many of the alien delegates still struggled to comprehend how quickly humans had adapted to their new reality. "In the past year," Tyler continued, "we've seen unprecedented cooperation between our worlds. Earth has become a hub of cultural exchange, scientific collaboration, and diplomatic innovation. But we're not here to rest on our laurels. We're here to propose a bold new initiative." He paused, letting the anticipation build. "We call it the Galactic Renaissance Project, a program designed to combine the unique strengths of every member world, fostering creativity, problem-solving, and technological advancement on a scale never before seen." As Tyler outlined the project, holographic displays flickered to life around the hall, showcasing potential collaborations. Novarian energy tech combined with Earth's quantum theories, Arcturian bioengineering melded with Regilian crystal computing, and countless other synergies. In the audience, Dr. Emily Reeves sat next to Zixlara, the once wary alien captain who had first discovered Earth. "It's remarkable," Zixlara mused. "A year ago, we thought your species might be a threat. Now you're pushing us all to grow in ways we never imagined." Emily smiled. "That's the thing about humans. We're never satisfied with the status quo. We always ask, what's next? How can we make things better?" As the assembly voted overwhelmingly to approve the Galactic Renaissance Project, celebrations erupted across Earth. In Times Square, humans and aliens alike cheered as the news was broadcast on massive screens. In the bustling markets of New Delhi, Traders from a dozen worlds haggled good-naturedly over exotic wares. And in the classrooms of Beijing, children sat in awe as holographic teachers from distant stars taught them about the wonders of the universe. But not all was perfect in this new galactic utopia. In the shadows of New Geneva, a clandestine meeting was taking place. "We've become too dependent on alien tech," a voice growled. "We're losing what makes us human." "Patience," another voice responded. "Remember, we play the long game. Earth first will have its day." As this seed of discord took root, elsewhere in the galaxy, other ripples of change were spreading. On Noveria, a group of young scientists pored over texts on human history and culture. "Look at this concept they call thinking outside the box," one exclaimed. "It's so inefficient, yet brilliant." In the Orion Arm, a coalition of historically oppressed species began to find their voice, inspired by human tales of revolution and civil rights movements. And in the deepest reaches of uncharted space, something ancient stirred. The rapid advancement of the Galactic Confederation, catalyzed by humanity's influence, had not gone unnoticed. Back in New Geneva, as the assembly concluded, Tyler found himself approached by Sixthor, the former overseer of the trials. Ambassador Hawkins, the alien intoned, its compound eyes flickering with an unreadable emotion. "Your species continues to surprise us. But I must warn you, the galaxy is larger and more complex than you know. The trials you faced were but a small test compared to what lies ahead." Tyler met the alien's gaze steadily. "Whatever comes, Sixthor, humanity will face it as we always have, with courage, creativity, and an unwavering spirit." As they parted ways, neither could have predicted the challenges that loomed on the cosmic horizon. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, but the true test of their mettle was yet to come. In homes, ships, and alien worlds across the galaxy, beings of all kinds watched and wondered what this upstart species would do next. Earth, once a tiny blue marble in an unremarkable solar system, had become the focal point of galactic attention. The age of humanity had begun, and the universe would never be the same.